In the first 3 Mario Kart games, Grand Prix will reward only the top 4 finishing drivers for each race. First gets the most with 9 points, second with 6, third receiving 3, and fourth getting only 1 point. If the highest finishing player finishes 5th or worse, they will have to retry that race, or quit out of the cup entirely. CPU players that finish 5th or worse do not receive points, should the player finish well enough for that race. Because of this point system, it is very unlikely you will finish poorly in points, due to the chance that you can run out of kart lives before you can make it to the end, or you will race well enough to be rewarded with one of the top 3 trophies. But what if it was your goal to finish 8th overall in Grand Prix? For starters, you will need to gain the minimum points of 4 from finishing 4th throughout the entire cup, as you cannot progress in the cup with the 5th or worst place finish. You also need to have every CPU score at least 6 points. For that reason, you cannot let the same driver finish in the top 3 too many times. Furthermore, you will need to manage how well each of the CPU players do, alongside making sure you finish 4th for each race. Accomplishing this nega-achieving feat doesn't net you any unlockables in-game, but as a standalone pseudo challenge, it can be quite the prideful accomplishment that players can brag about through forums and videos online. A new point system that rewards every position with points would be introduced in Mario Kart Double Dash, which in result would remove the demanding challenge of finishing last in points, due to you no longer needing to finish 4th for every race in order to progress. Hello everybody, this is Nintendo 14. Welcome back to the year of Mario Kart. In the last part, we raced in the Extra Star Cup and had Todd alongside us for that. And this part, let's play as Yoshi, and we're gonna take him to the Special Cup. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at all the progression we made to get up to this moment. Not all the prettiest ranks, but yeah, I take care of that later for nighttime title screen, because I do need to get that just for footage and no idea. So anyways, here we are in the Special Cup. 4 of the toughest and meanest tracks of Mario Kart Super Circuits. We're gonna start things off with Lakeside Park. Hope I got the track right, because is it my job to memorize all the tracks in Mario Kart Super Circuit? It's not the easiest thing to do, and cut me some slack if I get them wrong. Anyways, so there's a lot of things that you want to keep in mind when you're racing in these higher difficulty tracks. Is that know what you're racing with. If you have a heavyweight kart, then you got advantage of the speed, and you will have to manage a lot of steering. This is a very very difficult game to steer your kart, and you're going to be wrestling with that throughout the entire game, especially for these last cups. So just keep that very much in mindful, and you know how to get entries into these corners. If you can do that, then you'll be great. As for the coins, I guess once you get to the tougher tracks, that does get pretty difficult too, because trying to steer yourself or aim yourself into the coins, that's not a real easy thing to do, and you don't want to force it too much, as you'll find yourself slowing down so much and you'll be out of the groove, and then in result you're gonna have the CPUs passing you and giving up the first place that you're gonna need in order to win. Because also not only that you need the 100 coins, but you also need to make sure you get the gold cup, or maybe no. First you need the gold cup, and then you can worry about the 100 coins. So one or the other, but mainly you want to go for the gold cup before, if you want to. What I did with most of my unlocking of the extra cups, I did go for both the gold cup and the 100 coins. You don't have to do that, but I decided to go with that either way. Alright, so second race here is the Broken Pier. I guess now is a good time to go into ranks, because even though I already went over that in the Flower Cup, but I think I can add a little bit more to it. It's really important that you go as fast as you can. Don't let off the accelerator or use the brakes that often, and make sure you have a smooth race. Easy enough, or easier said than done, really. So if you can front run like I'm doing right now, and not find yourself having too much trouble, like say hitting in a wall or finding yourself going off track, because even that will happen. Like say you could still not get the triple star ranking because you fall off the track during one of your race wins. So just make sure you're as steady as you can be through each race. And with that, we're in the final lap of Broken Pier. I wish this track would come back. This is one of those one of the many Super Circuit tracks that is really underrated, and I think it would be a pretty great track to race around in a game like Mario Kart 8, because you never know what section of this track could be in anti-gravity, and what's the best lanes to run here. Yeah, the thing with these newer Mario Kart games, it just feels also natural to have this, and we would like to have this track with this kind of setting. But anyways, what else can I go over? I really just going into this video, I didn't have a whole lot to go over. All I had was just what you got to do with the triple star rankings and the coins. I guess another thing I could go over is the 8th place run thing that I discussed in the intro segment for this video. I touched on it a little bit, but I felt like I can go in a little bit more detail. Now I've actually had some experience in trying to go for this 8th place run thing. It's as of just recently, I've discovered that you can finish 8th. It's not easy to do by any means, but you can do that if you really want to. You can't really do it. There's no real challenge to it after Super Circuit because the fact that you can finish 8th with no real penalty. You can advance and finish 8th. So that's why you don't really see 8th place race challenges for games like Double Dash, DS, Wii, 7, and 8, because they're all real easy and there's no challenge to it. Here, you gotta manage two things. It's making sure everybody else gets their fair share in the top 3, and that you finish 4th for each race. Now, the easiest game for this is Mario Kart 64, because the AIs they're pretty nice when it comes to when you try to hit this certain CPU to let this other CPU get past. And like say if there's a CPU that's normally always in the back, as soon as they get to the front, then they're just like your rivals, and they can be pretty speedy and competitive once they get to the front. And that alone just makes it pretty simple, or just simple enough to make it doable. So if you want to go for 8th place runs, for an 8th place run, I recommend you do it in Mario Kart 64, because it's really difficult to do an 8th place run here in Mario Kart Super Circuit and in Super Mario Kart, because the way the rubber banding works, and your rivals are real forceful in getting back to the front, and the CPUs that usually stay in the back, they're really slow. So it's really tough. But hey, there's some people out on YouTube that are able to do it, and high props to them for doing it, because it's not the easiest thing to do in these first 3 Mario Kart games. And so with my when I did it in Mario Kart 64, I was DK. It was a fun thing to do, in that just having all the CPUs getting points. It's a really neat way on trying to hone your skills on hitting people with items. So if you want to play Mario Kart that way, then you got it under your belt. And if you need to have your item pegging skills up towards the task in, like, say, a more serious Mario Kart session, then you got it. Alright, so now getting back to gameplay. We're in the Rainbow Road. Is a surprise that Mario Kart Super Circuit has its own version of Rainbow Road, and it has some of the most underrated music for Rainbow Road. This, I really wish that one day there'd be a proper rendition of, or a re-rendition of this music, because this is amazing. Not to diss that about the original, because that's great in its own, but we need a higher quality RIP version of this version of Rainbow Road. Like, say I don't know, just remix it with either some modern instruments or just to add a modern style to this music. But don't change like any major parts of the song. Just keep it recognizable. Just make it sound fresh, but not irrecognizable. You know what I mean? So once we get Mario Kart 9, or if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe does have DLC, just like the one on the Wii U did, then I'm really looking forward to if they can, oh I don't know, implement this into their DLC. Because I'd love to race on Super Circuit's Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 8, or if not, then Mario Kart 9. It's just a fun track, and to see what they could do with all the speed bumps, because there are a plethora of speed boost things that you can run over, and I'd like to see what they would do to implement with that. Like, say, if you keep running over all of the speed boosts, will the speed stack, or will it be just like with Mario Kart Wii, where there's a cap towards it and you don't go as fast? And additionally, the ramps they'll be pretty interesting to see in Mario Kart 8, as the ramps in Mario Kart 8, they work a lot different than in Super Circuit. As in, if you're sideways, or here in the Super Circuit, when you're sideways on the ramp, they kind of act like a I don't know, spring that you just keep bouncing upwards on. But in 8, I don't think they're not like that. Instead, I don't know, they just don't look like the ramps that they would do that, just like with Super Circuit. So just another thing to think about. Maybe just thinking about that. Nintendo would probably get rid of those ramps, or just tone them down in some way, because with those ramps you can pull some pretty nasty shortcuts in Rainbow Road GBA, and so I think just because of that they could get rid of those ramps in case if they really need to, because the last thing we need in a Mario Kart 8 track is a really broken shortcut that everybody can abuse, and it'll leave all the rookie drivers that don't know how to do it, or just the people that can't do it because they don't have the mushroom or the item that they need to perform the shortcut. They'll leave all those people in the dust. And so, yeah, I guess we're done. We completed the special cup. We got our 100 coins needed for the extra special cup. That will be this Thursday, and that will be the last of the Mario Kart Super Circuit videos that we'll have for the year of Mario Karts. And here we are in the title screen. I like the title screen, but the credits music I like here. But get into this credits section of the after the special cup. You also get this for the extra special cup, but I'll handle that later. But this is all there is to the credits. It's just 360 zoom around camera around the character you played as, and yeah, and also on the sides you got the credits. You got who worked on this and that, and then also alongside it, I guess they tagged along what character that this developer played as a lot. Bill Trinan. If you guys are familiar with Bill Trinan, he's in his directs. You see him just about everywhere now. He plays Yoshi, I suppose. I don't know. This credits section, right before I wanted to record this, or I was going to record it. It's more about just wanting, but this credits section, it goes on for almost 5 minutes, and I was gonna plan on if I needed to speed this up. You know what? I'm gonna speed it up because this goes on forever, and it goes on even more after this part of the song, because you'd think that it'd be over after it, but nah. I think the credits music, it loops at least a second time here. So just because that, and I don't think I can entertain you guys for 5 minutes with just this. We're gonna speed up. All right, so with that, that's all for this part. Tune in next time, this Thursday, for the extra special cup. It will be the last part of Mario Kart Super Circuits. And with that, and after that, we'll move on to bigger and better things. So with that, I've been Nintendo 14. This Thursday, I'll have one last guest for Super Circuits. And with it, I'll see you guys later.